Donia
Okay.
Almassi. Nice to meet you.
Hi,
And
Lisa.
you've got some interesting stuff to share. But first of all, we'd
Yeah.
like you to introduce yourself. Tell us
Yeah.
a little bit about you.
So my name is Donia, and Donia Almassi, and I have a business called Saturn Sequoia. Basically, what I do is, and I'm an EFT intuitive. I'm combining psychic work with emotional freedom technique, which is EFT. It's called
Mhm.
EFT, and it works with the meridian points. It's a evidence-based technique, so it's usually used in a very conventional therapy setting, but
Okay.
I'm taking something that's used in a conventional therapy setting and I'm combining it with psychic work,
That is
basically.
so cool. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love EFT tapping. It's quite effective. I've used it
It,
many times on myself.
okay, so great. So you know already how it works.
Yeah.
So there are 9 main points. The points usually are just here, these points over here.
Mhm.
And then also there's the karate chop point. So those are the main points that basically you say or you concentrate on emotion and you clear out the emotion. Now, what I do is I find that EFT is extremely effective when you know the root cause. And usually in a traditional therapy setting, they will ask you questions, they'll dig, they'll investigate.
Mhm.
And based on what the client says and where the tapping goes, that's what you heal. What I do is, without asking any questions, I consult Erik and the guides,
Yes.
and they give me what needs to be worked on.
Shortcut. Love it.
Exactly, shortcut. So the session that you suggested, and frankly, Erik has been on my back to uh, to channel this. So I'm glad that I have this opportunity. So the subject that we were going to work on is, for instance, Erik's death.
Yeah.
Now, the intention that I put for this session is basically, could you please give me the biggest block, the root cause of the biggest block that is preventing full acceptance and peace around Erik's death?
Mhm.
That was basically the intention.
Okay.
So what I got is that how it works is I get 3 main sentences, which are 3 main beliefs, an intention for where we need to go. And then I have a channeled script, an EFT script that takes you right into the emotion.
Okay.
Okay. So I don't know if you had a busy morning, but generally you need to be grounded. Do you feel grounded in your body right now? Should I ask
I
you
think so.
that?
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Okay.
I'm not very much in tune with my body, so but I'm
Okay.
not really sure how grounding feels. So
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's a key actual sign of basically of trauma that needs to be cleared.
yeah.
So let's start with a sentence. If you could put one hand on your heart and the other on your stomach, okay?
Okay.
And just close your eyes, okay? And pay attention to your breath because that's a nice way to ground. So just take a second to pay attention to your breath. So just paying attention to your breath going in and out. Okay, and when you're ready, say to yourself the sentence, I'm in so much grief over my dead son.
I am in so much grief over my dead son.
Yeah. So just notice what happens in the body and the intensity that comes up when you say that sentence. And if you can, give it a number between 0 and 10.
Probably 7 or 8.
Very good. Okay. And now the sentence, this grief is all consuming and makes me not want to live.
This grief is all consuming and makes me not want to live.
What's the intensity of that 0 to 10?
Let's say a 9.
Very good. And the third sentence, I'm so sad and feel that I will never know happiness again.
I am so sad and I feel I will never know happiness again.
Very good. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to start tapping on the side of the hand on the karate chop point.
Okay.
Okay, and just repeat after me.
Okay.
Even though I'm in so much grief
I'm in so much grief
over my dead son,
over my dead son,
I accept how I feel.
I accept how I feel,
even though
even though
this grief is all consuming
this grief is all consuming
and makes me not want to live.
and makes me not want to live.
I accept how I feel,
I accept how I feel,
even though
even though
I'm so sad
I'm so sad
and feel that I will never know happiness again.
and feel like I will never know happiness again.
I accept how I feel,
I accept how I feel,
and I'm ready to feel alive again
and I'm ready to feel alive again
and accept his death
and accept his death
as the course of life.
as the course of life.
Very good. Now tapping on the eyebrow point, just like that. Yeah,
Both
very
of them?
good. And now you
Okay.
could do one or two, as
Okay.
you like. Very good. And just repeat after me. Feeling so sad.
Feeling so sad.
Side of the eye. Grief. Yeah, very good. Grief.
Grief.
Mm. Prostrate grief.
Prostrate grief.
Just grief. Yeah,
Oh,
grief.
grief.
Yeah. Under the eye. Just here. Very good. Grief for everything he could have been.
Grief for everything he could have been.
Yeah. Under the nose. Grief for everything he was.
Grief for everything he was.
Mhm. On the chin. Grief for how I loved him,
Grief for how I loved him,
and it wasn't enough.
and it wasn't enough.
On the collarbone. Not enough to save him.
Not enough to save him.
Not enough to take him in my arms
Not enough to take him in my arms
and make it all better.
and make it all better.
Under the arm. To make it all go away.
To make it all go away.
Not enough to heal him
Not enough to heal him
and make it all better.
and make it all better.
Top of the head. And comfort him
And comfort him
and take his pain away
and take his pain away
and save him.
and save him.
On the eyebrow. Knowing how much I love him,
Knowing how much I love him,
how much he means to me.
how much he means to me.
Side of the eye. If he had known,
If he had known,
truly known,
truly known,
would he have left?
would he have left?
Under the eye. Would he have gone so soon?
Would he have gone so soon?
Would he have suffered as much?
Would he have suffered as much?
Under the nose. All these questions
All of these questions
unanswered.
unanswered,
On the chin. Forever unanswered.
forever unanswered,
Forever unknowable.
forever unknowable,
Forever out of reach.
forever out of reach,
And forever sad.
and forever sad.
On the collarbone. I am forever sad
I am forever sad
that I will never hold him again
that I will never hold him again,
and let him know how much I love him.
and let him know how much I love him,
Under the arm. How much he meant to me.
how much he meant to me,
How much I miss him.
how much I miss him.
Top of the head. That is gone.
That is gone,
Gone forever.
gone forever.
On the eyebrow. I will never get him back.
I will never get him back.
I will never feel the warmth of a hug.
I will never feel the warmth of a hug.
Side of the eye. Kiss on the cheek.
Kiss on the cheek.
Under the eye. It's gone.
It's gone.
He's gone.
He's gone.
And I will never feel happiness like I did again.
And I will never feel happiness like I did again.
Under the nose. I will never hold him.
I will never hold him.
My sweet baby.
Sweet baby.
On the chin. Kiss him and comfort him,
Kiss him and comfort him.
chasing the monsters away.
Chasing the monsters away.
When you're ready, you can stop tapping. Just take a deep breath, okay? Do you have a glass of water near you?
No.
No, okay, all right. Okay, so just tell me if there's anything that came up while we did that.
Well, of course, grief.
Yeah, grief. That was it, like the big thing is grief. But if we come back to the sentences, let's go back to the sentences, okay? Just so I don't look like a masochistic, a sadistic jerk. Let's just go back to the sentence and say, I'm in so much grief over my dead son.
I'm in so much grief over my dead son.
How true does that feel? 0 to 10.
6 or 7.
Very good. Okay. And the sentence.
Your hard case, let me tell you. He was my twin flame, so hit me very, very hard.
Of course. This grief is all consuming and makes me not want to live.
This grief is all consuming and makes me not want to live.
How true does that feel?
8.
Very good.
7, 8. Yeah.
And the sentence, I'm so sad.
I am so sad.
And I feel I will never know happiness again.
And I feel like I will never know happiness again. 6, maybe. I'm just seeing a number pop in my mind.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Take a deep breath now. Okay. Now that's a mini cycle. Okay. I'm not going to leave you. I have a positive, so we'll do that even though we haven't brought it to 0 to kind of pump you back up again.
It will take hours probably.
But you can see that here you started with the first sentence was the 7 and 8, went down to 6. Then we started with this first sentence was 9, we brought it down to an 8, and then the other one we also brought down. So this is the work basically. These are subconscious beliefs that we're not quite aware of. So in this case, it seems like the belief that came as a result of Erik's death is that somehow you were to blame because you didn't love him enough. It's not conscious. It's not that we go out to believe. Yeah, it's totally subconscious. But it's if I had loved him more, he'd still be here. And of course, that's a false belief. And it's a very heavy belief to carry around. And frankly, I'm surprised that you got through without the waterworks because I was bawling as I channeled this.
I had to restrain myself. I'm usually having to do that.
Okay. All right. Because to be honest, I also I lost my father about 10 years ago, and he I don't think he was my twin flame, but he was definitely a soulmate. And what they told me, because I was trying to figure out, why Erik's pushing me this badly in your direction, and it seems like there is a parallel with us because the work that I do right now, the genesis of it came from my dad's death 10 years ago. So everything that I've done since basically has been as a result of his death. And it's very similar with you. Yeah, this is what's so this is the cycle. We can do a positive as well, depending on time. I have a positive round. Of course, it won't be as effective because we haven't brought it down to 0, but if you want to try it, we can. Sure, yeah. Okay. All right. So why don't we just go straight into the points for this one? Okay. So we'll start with the eyebrow. Okay. And just repeat after me. Feeling relieved.
Feeling relieved.
Side of the eye. Reassured.
Reassured.
It wasn't my fault.
It wasn't my fault.
Under the eye. I didn't love him any less.
I didn't love him any less.
Than if I'd known what was to come.
If I'd known what was to come.
Under the nose. I'm not at fault.
I'm not at fault.
I'm not to blame.
I'm not to blame.
On the chin. I did not make a mistake.
I did not make a mistake.
I was human.
I was human.
On the collarbone. And I loved humanly.
And I loved humanly.
I loved with all my heart,
I loved with all my heart,
and it wasn't enough.
and it wasn't enough.
Yeah. Under the arm. It could never be enough.
It could never be enough.
He did not die from lack of love.
He did not die from lack of love.
He did not die thinking he was unloved.
He did not die thinking he was unloved. At least not by
He,
me.
he knew. He knew.
He knew.
Top of the head. But his own demons overcame him.
But his own demons overcame him.
His demons caught up to him.
His demons caught up to him.
And no amount of love could stop it.
And no amount of love could stop it.
On the eyebrow. No amount of love.
No amount of love.
From me or anyone else.
For me or anyone else.
Side of the eye. That love had to come from him.
That love had to come from him.
And nothing else could be enough.
And nothing else could be enough.
Under the eye. Nothing else was enough.
Nothing else was enough.
No amount of love.
No amount of love
Can save us from mental illness.
can save us from mental illness.
Under the nose. No amount of love.
No amount of love
Can save us from ourselves.
can save us from ourselves.
On the chin. We are all responsible
We are all responsible
for our own love,
for our own love,
for loving ourselves
for loving ourselves,
as well as others.
as well as others.
And no amount of love
And no amount of love
can replace that.
can replace that.
On the collarbone. So I'm letting go of blame.
So I'm letting go of blame.
I'm letting go of unforgiveness.
I'm letting go of unforgiveness.
I'm letting go of anger.
I'm letting go of anger.
I'm letting go of guilt.
I'm letting go of guilt.
I'm letting go of unforgiveness.
I'm letting go of unforgiveness
Under the arm. That has held me put for so long.
that has held me put for so long.
I'm ready to forgive myself
I'm ready to forgive myself
for believing my love could heal him
for believing my love could heal him
when it couldn't,
when it couldn't,
and it never could.
and it never could.
You can stop tapping and take a deep breath, okay? How do you feel?
A little bit more free to let it out, I guess. I'm an ugly
Good.
crier, so.
It's the only way to cry. Yeah, just take a moment, okay?
It feels looser. It definitely feels looser. And trapped emotions is really not good for the physical body either, So that's why it's really important to use techniques like this to get rid of those, release those emotions. But
Yeah.
we're not built as humans to let it all out, let it all go. We want to stuff it because it's just so uncomfortable. And then you get cancer, arthritis, and things like that. So,
Well, yeah, that's the thing. What I see is I see kind of two different clients. One client is there's a lot of trauma there. And when you have trauma, it's as you say, you dissociate. You don't want to feel it. It's too painful. And on a constant basis, there's just no way. So it's difficult, especially in a therapy setting. First of all, if you can't feel the emotions, you're not going to go to a therapist because you think, well, no one's going to help anyway, right? And it's not even go there. And the thing, how I think I really believe in this method is because what happens is it takes me to the emotion without them having to tell me about it.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, so it means
live the trauma on the, because
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, because it's too
Almost
much.
every morning when I wake up or when I'm about to wake up, I just revisit that horror, that day and the sights. So this trauma is still really deeply embedded in there because it's not something that any mother should see, really. So
I channeled a lot for this talk to see if they could give me things. And one thing that they gave me, which is kind of interesting, was that they compared us a little bit to computers in the sense that, like, for instance, you can have one computer that has a very positive program. Let's say a program that saves lives because there's an organ transplant that, computers now can do operations that are very precise, right? So you can have a program. It's a program. It's a computer at the base, but it's a program. And then there are others that are like drones, for instance. You could say that's controlled by a computer. That's a program and a computer too.
okay.
And that you'd never say of the drone computer, you wouldn't say that's a bad seed. That's a bad seed computer. Yeah, that's a bad computer. We should put it in jail and then the problem would be over. No, we say it's not the computer, it's the program. We need to get rid of the program.
Yeah. That's so true.
And that's what they kind of compared to me. They compared humans a little bit to that, in the sense that we truly believe that we're the program. That's our ego believing that we're the program, but we're actually just the carrier of the program.
Yeah.
And the ego, a lot of people think when I talk about ego, they think, oh, I'm just full of myself. That means you have an ego, but it's not. No, it's just the attachment to the thought. And the thought in this case is the program.
Right.
And so really this work is a bit like deprogramming the mind and wrestling the program from the ego and letting that go in order to really see the true person underneath.
Right.
And
Fascinating. And
yeah, so
powerful.
it is really powerful. I don't know if you want to go into my past, but I know that one thing, well, I'll say about this. One thing I really like about this is that I'm not just waving a wand and saying, okay, now you're healed. You know what it was like before we did this session, right? This mini session.
Yeah.
And we did it, and you found out what the beliefs were that were causing that pain. And then afterwards, when we clear it, you see the world differently because you no longer have that belief. And what's really nice about that is it empowers people.
Yeah.
So people they really see physically and experientially, this is what it was like. This is how I saw the world when I had this filter, which was a belief.
Mm-hmm.
This is now how I see the world without the filter of that belief.
Yeah.
And so it makes them question, well, what else can I change? What else do I have that I'm not, that I'm believing and isn't true?
Yeah.
And it brings the power back into the hands of the person, because a lot of the work that I do, it's people in its beliefs that feel like fate. This is something that comes up a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Fate.
Yeah.
The belief that this is fate. This belief is fate. This belief is destiny. And it kind of locks it in where you don't actually look further.
Yeah, like I'm going to have to deal with this until my death, that sort of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And so it kind of, what it does is, if you peel back only even one belief, it's almost like looking behind the curtain.
Yeah.
And instead of believing, well, this is my reality and it's never going to change, you see, okay, actually it can change very quickly, very, very quickly. And I'm not destined for anything unless I choose. So yeah, I don't know if you have any questions. I'm just, I think I'm spouting off.
Cool is that this can be done remotely,
Oh, all of it I do remotely, because I live in France. I don't know if I mentioned that. I live in France. I've lived in France for 10 years, basically, since my dad died. Awesome. I came here. Yeah. So my clients are, I'm originally from Toronto, so a lot of my clients in Toronto, but I also do sessions in French here. Good. And yeah, and everything is remote, even when they're in the same city. And that's the world we're in now.
That's the way to do it. That is the way to do it. Especially with COVID, even now, it's all of a sudden spiking again here. So so many people I know have COVID now for the third, fourth time. It's crazy.
It's true.
So
Yeah. But I also like it because afterwards, I mean, we only did one little cycle, but if we bring it down to 0, when there's a huge energetic shift, you are tired after.
yeah,
And a lot of people just want to go take a nap. So you're already home. If it's just by
that
Skype,
is
you're already
true.
home. Just
That
go
is true.
behind and take a
Of
nap.
course, now I probably would have if I mean, knowing this is going to be on YouTube, it holds me back a little bit because I look so horrible when I cry and it's very uncomfortable. But most people are not going to put their sessions on YouTube, so they could just, feel
Let loose. Yeah.
let loose. Yeah. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you're on YouTube all the time, but I'm not often, not like this at least. So yeah, I'm probably not censoring myself at all. I probably should in some way. I don't know.
No,
But
you did great. Now, is there anything else you want to share before you share your information?
Is there anything that I want to share? No, I think we've covered it. Yeah, I don't have anything to add. I'm sure that, yeah, we're only at the 21-minute mark. Do I have anything to add? No, I don't think so. I just think that it's just really, I think it's powerful work. And the reason that I really believe that this is so important, basically, as we go into the 5D. That's all I want to say. It's that,
interesting.
yeah,
Oh,
because this is the next step. We
mhm.
have all the knowledge, right? Your channel is an incredible treasure trove of knowledge. You could spend whole days watching and learning from your channel alone. But we're now moving into a phase where we have to integrate. We have to integrate the shadow. And that the shadow, for instance, you can have learned to have good habits and have a good relationship, and you're now in a safe environment where you're not being traumatized. That's great. But a lot of people think that that's it, and that after you're okay and you just keep on going. But no, the next step is to face your shadow and to
Yeah, do the
integrate it.
shadow work. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that trauma is stored, and it's almost like your parts of you are trapped in these traumatic events, and it feels so good to bring it all back together. So I just wanted to say that this is the time we're being called to apply our knowledge. That's really, really important. And that's, I think that what I'm doing is a bit of what the future is going to look like, where conventional and spiritual start to merge and start to work together.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay, how can they get in touch with you if they want to book a session with you?
So my website is Saturn Sequoia, so Saturn like the planet and Sequoia like the tree.com. And you can just email me at saturn.sequoia@gmail.com if you want a session or to book just a consultation. I do free consultations just to see what they're looking for and just discuss. And there's no obligation to have a session. It's just if you're curious and you want to, if this interests you and you think that you are the profile of where you are aware of your blocks, but somehow you still have the same patterns and it keeps on going in cycles, and you are conscious and you are aware, and why is this happening to you? Well, it's probably the unconscious programming. And
now
that's where
you channeled Erik and some other guides for me. Who do you usually channel with other people?
I always bring in Erik. Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's not just for you. I brought in this time, the only extra thing I did was I brought in your guides.
Okay.
So yeah,
that sounds great.
And that's what I do with every client. I bring in their guides.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, thank you. You're going to be
Thank you, Lisa.
A lot of business, I hope. And we'll put this in queue to get on YouTube ASAP. You guys, be sure, people in your life who have been traumatized or have trapped emotions, share this with them, please. And be sure you smash the notification bell so you don't miss something like this in the future. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Bye. It was delightful. You're a very delightful woman. Thanks.
Thanks.